News Now.
Welcome to Nerd News Now, everybody. This has been Brainy and Kyle negotiate about imaginary things.
Yep.
You'll be hearing from my lawyers, buddy.
All right, just have them call mine, and then together they can call Diamond.
Oh, don't even get me started on that, man.
No, I'm kidding. Oh, so did you guys have a good weekend?
I did. Well, it kind of like was a weird weekend, but we had good Comics Pro.
Did we? There was a lot of it where I felt like I could sleep, and I did.
Well, but you also don't have a comic book shop you have to order for, so it's different.
That's true, but that may not be true in 6 months.
Oh.
So I tried to pay attention as much as possible. But there was some of it that, as I was explaining to Justin, you know that scene in Ferris Bueller where Ben Stein is going Bueller, Bueller,
Yep.
or anything that Ben Stein has ever been in? It made some of the presentations at Comics Pro made that look like Die Hard.
Wow. I don't know. There were some very informative ones.
Most of them, I would say, were tremendous.
There were a few I wondered where the presenters were.
Yeah.
And one thing I noticed is that a lot of the big wigs per se for their companies weren't in attendance this time.
It's true.
There was a trade-off, right? We got CB for David. And
We
we got
did.
who we get for DC?
Jim Lee.
Yeah, I mean,
Was Jim Lee there? I missed it.
Yes. Well, and it's like we got for AWA instead of Axel, we got Mike Diodato Jr., who, if we're going to go accent for accent, I will take Mike Diodato Jr. every day. And what's hilarious is that Mike was there like in a cutoff shirt, like, and he's like, looked like he just got back from the gym, but he's like, it's very hot where I am, and I'm talking to you guys. Can I just go back to drawing, basically? And I think our collective response was, yeah,
please.
make us beautiful things.
I missed a lot of the presentation, or rather the roundtable's second day because I had a dentist appointment. So I was tempted to participate on my phone while driving, but I like to pay attention while driving. It's a weird concept.
I don't know. I spent 9 hours in the car the last 2 days.
Oh my.
Hey, there are services out there that help the homeless. We'll even help you if you're in need.
No, I had to go to Columbus, Ohio, which is 2.5 hours down, 2.5 hours back, and then I had to crisscross the city a couple of times, which is not. It's way easier than crisscrossing L.A., but it's not easy because there are no straight roads. Like, you can't just go across the city. You've got to go out and around the city. And they keep redoing the roads to include the new suburb that they've just annexed. So, like, if you go north, it's like driving the top of a question mark. And if you go south, it's like, I don't know, like Snake River Falls or something. Like, it's bad. So, what did you guys do this weekend? Because, like, Comics Pro was over.
Getting old.
Watch any good movies?
I watched Inventing
Anna?
Anna.
I've heard that's very good.
It is good. I was hesitant to start it. And honestly, it's because in the trailer, the accent really bothered me.
It's
Okay.
still watching it, so
I'm sorry, what was that?
it still bothers me when I'm watching it.
And it's like your jam, right, Miss Jen? Because it's a little bit true crime, a little bit mystery.
Correct. It is, for those that don't know, it is based off of a real story, and it is based off of the article that was written. So it's as I said during the episodes, all of this is true, except for the stuff that's made up. I cleaned up a little bit of the language on that. Also, if you guys have not, watch In From the Cold. It is a nice spy thriller with a twist. I don't know if I want to put the twist out because they don't reveal it until the end of episode 1 or towards the end of episode 1. It's a nice twist. It fits into our genre, basically.
Cool. I think it's interesting that Inventing Anna is the fastest show ever to go from release to rewatch podcast. Like, it dropped and there was a rewatch podcast the next day. Like, it felt like and they're going, have you already watched all of Inventing Anna? Watch it again and listen to this podcast while you do. Don't listen to this podcast the first time through the show. Like, was in the advertisement.
Okay.
I'm going, oh, this is dope. And I think the whole thing is just, I think the podcast is like an extension on the kind of concepts in the show, where the podcast is not entirely a rewatch podcast as much as it is another submersive way to enjoy the show.
Yeah,
So,
what I would like to see is a Netflix documentary of the real life story. That would be interesting.
Mhm.
I mean, we all know what the trial was about, but I'd like to see what the rest of the story is all about.
I actually don't know any of the story.
You have not watched it yet?
No,
Oh,
like, and I don't know the real life story either that I know of because I haven't watched it. So it's like one of those things is that I've decided that when people talk about it, I'm going to kind of just not listen so much and just go in completely oblivious because I'm going to see if I can solve it or whatever.
I mean, there's nothing to solve.
There's always something to solve.
It's like Star Wars. We already know the ending.
Well, I'm going to see if I can solve how to get away with whatever she didn't get away with. Because if there's a trial, she clearly didn't get away with something.
She got away with some stuff.
Right, but there's something she didn't. Whatever.
Yes.
Miss Chen, what did you watch this weekend? Anything good?
Oh, I started the Anna show.
Mm-hmm.
And then mostly have my family drive me around and take me to food places.
That sounds like a great weekend.
Yeah, that's the way. That's the way. And when you're old, you celebrate your birthdays by eating because you don't want more stuff.
Wait, isn't your birthday coming up?
No. It was the 27th. I'm all done.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yeah, happy late birthday.
Wait, I thought it was coming up. Wait, whose is coming up?
Mine.
Miles is coming up.
Of course, I forgot to wish David Gabriel happy birthday because we have the same birthday.
Ah.
Everyone did
our
one.
birthday with Pokemon.
With Pokemon.
Yeah, it's always Pokemon Day because it's the day that they first came out.
You were born to be the best there ever was, to catch them all.
Yep.
Gotta catch them all. Pokemon.
I have a story, but it's not appropriate for this show.
Yeah, let's try to
About catching them all in Pokemon. Okay, I'll tell it. I was at a convention in Michigan, and I left, and I stopped at the gas station. And I go into the restroom, and in the dispenser in the restroom was a thing that distributed Pokemon, and I took a picture and put it on Facebook and said the only Pokemon this distributes are the kinds you don't want to catch.
Yeah, I think you told me this story before.
Great joke. So yeah, happy late birthday, Miss Jen. I hope it was a good one.
It was great.
I hope you got many good foods.
I had so much foods. Feel myself gaining weight.
So my birthday is Wednesday,
Oh.
and every year, but last year because of stupid COVID,
Hey.
it has fallen on Restaurant Week Toledo. Do you guys have Restaurant Week where you are?
Yeah, it's called something else, but yeah.
So my friends and I always celebrate my birthday week by going to as many restaurants that we normally can't afford to go to and taking advantage of the discounted deals at the fancy restaurants and trying places we wouldn't normally try because they're discounted. So like one year we went and got Korean barbecue because none of us had ever had Korean barbecue before. And because it was so discounted, none of us can remember if we liked the Korean barbecue, but we knew we liked the sake that they also served.
You mean at a Japanese restaurant?
No, it was both. They had both.
Ah,
But like, so their menu was you could get Korean barbecue as one of your entrees or sushi as your other entree. Like you just had to pick. And then they bring you like the appetizer, the entree, and the dessert. But then they had the booze menu, which is you get Korean rice wine or you get sake. And we went with sake, and that's the last thing we remember. But we're celebrating tomorrow. I'm going with a friend to a fancy burger place that just opened is on it. And then Thursday is my dad's birthday. I was born 29 or 28 years,
Description of something like that.
23 hours and 43 minutes after my dad.
Okay.
my birthday's on Thursday as well.
This coming?
No, on
Yeah.
a Thursday.
Well. But anyhow, so Thursday my dad and I are going for overpriced Italian food.
Mm.
Olive Garden.
No. Better than that.
Pesto pasta?
Hmm?
I don't know if you guys have pesto pasta there.
No. It's called Rosie's.
Everything I did is fine.
Wait, Rosie's is in Italian. Maybe
This-
it is in your area.
Yeah, Rosie's Italian Grill.
Not gonna have the numbers next to it anymore. But
Rosie's around here is a barbecue joint.
Okay.
I have the numbers next to it.
Did Hannah just throw shade at somebody by saying everything I did is right?
No, I'm saying that Penguin
saved
Random
it.
House has got it set up so that when you do FOC,
You can't-
if you go and look at anything and come back to it, it erases everything you put in.
So you hit see, that's why we don't do our FOC on their websites. We do them all on ours and upload to their sites.
So much technology.
Like, why would you design it so that it erased everything that you put in if you went to go look at something for detail?
It erased it from her card.
No, the stuff that I put in, I saved to the cart, but Jen's hadn't been saved to the cart yet, so yeah, I hate that.
Did Hannah just double Miss Jen's work?
So was it in the
No.
cart at all?
Yours were not. Mine are, because I always hit save to cart. That's why the number's in a orange circle next to where you put it in. So you just have to go back through and put your numbers in.
Okay, I'm super glad that I don't have to do any of this anymore.
Well, now it's got an add all to cart at the bottom, which wasn't there before. I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, because it
You can do multi-cart or multi-order now, whatever, multi-ad. So what else we got?
Well, I started watching a show this weekend that I had watched previously illegally on YouTube, but now I'm watching it legally because for my birthday I was gifted a BritBox subscription. You know, the streaming service that's only British shows,
Oh, okay.
which I think is a rival to Dog TV,
Oh boy.
like in terms of its specificity.
Oh
Um,
man.
But I started watching a show called Mrs. Brown's Boys,
Okay.
which is a think Tyler Perry's Medea, but Irish.
Okay. Now the question is, does Mrs. Brown have a lovely daughter?
One.
And are Herman's Hermit there?
No.
That is disappointing.
Well, there's a joke about a person named Herman, but the joke that got me watching the show was I saw a clip on YouTube that people from the Mormon church come to try to proselytize to Mrs. Brown, who's a devout Catholic. So in order to scare them off, she invites them into the house, is super nice to them, keeps them there for 4 hours. So they're and just argues with them the whole time while being super polite. And like won't let them leave. And so they start talking about Noah's Ark. And she goes, Narman's Ark. And he goes, it's Noah, ma'am. And she goes, I believe in Ireland we call him Narman. Like, and the joke is that what did Noah have on his ark? 2 of every animal from all over the world, right? And she goes, it's fiction, son. And they go, no, ma'am. And she goes, yes, son. We had 2 hamsters for a week and they nearly shit out the house. Because, the Bible doesn't address what Noah did with the poop.
That is true. Well, he dumped it all into the ocean.
I'm sure. But, like, that's a detail that they left out that created a plot hole that would later be filled with comedy.
Yeah, because that's how we got all the coral reefs and the salty water, right?
I don't know. But like I said, it's it's one of those places that you could fill with comedy later. But very funny show. And Mrs. Brown appears in the new Tyler Perry's Medea movie.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, man. I used to be a huge fan of Tyler Perry movies. I think I've lost the desire to watch them now.
Yeah, I saw the banner for it on Netflix. I'm like, hey, that's Mrs. Brown. And I have BritBox now. I can go watch all of those shows. Because I was just going to use it to watch Doctor Who nonstop.
Ooh, oh. I'm caught up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm caught up.
So.
I still haven't watched Marry Me yet. I'm still tempted to see.
Yeah, I mean, the only other thing that I watched this weekend was CNN.
Oh, to catch up on how embarrassed Russia looks right now?
Well, I had been working the news desk all week last week, overnights training somebody, which was the worst time to ever sign up to volunteer to help train someone.
True.
So I've been watching that, but so I just kept watching to keep up to date on what was happening. So,
yeah, I have not stayed on to the news all day. What's going on?
I don't know. I haven't either today. So, yeah. So what else has happened? Has any news that's relevant to our cause happened?
The news that came out of Comics Bro, which a lot of it dropped to the public now, so.
Yeah. Patrick Stewart has confirmed his role in Doctor Strange 2.
He has not confirmed 100%. There's innuendos.
X-Men alum Sir Patrick Stewart confirmed he is in fact in Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness. On Jake's Takes, Stewart was asked about his recent about the recent trailer. He goes, well, I had my phone turned off as it happened, so I didn't hear anything, he said. It wasn't until the next morning when I woke up and looked at my phone that I found I had been bombarded with responses and that my PR people had sent me reactions they had detailed and pressed onto me. I actually didn't recognize my own voice. It sounded different. Whether I had a cold or something at the time, I don't know. But I was astonished, and all they saw was the back of my shoulder, and I think my earlobe, nothing else. There would have been so many connections made, but it pleased me.
And the previous comments he made was, hey, there's enough people out there impersonating me, so,
Right. No, this is him saying it was totally his ear.
No, that's kind of.
Well, but what he hasn't said is that he played a role. Like he says that's totally him in the trailer. So is that just a clip that they've used, they've body snatched him out of out of one of the X-Men movies he was in, or a trailer for that and plopped him in there? Because we have that technology now.
We do.
He's not confirming that he played a role necessarily. He is confirming, though, that is his ear in the trailer. And if you can ever identify me by my ear, it's because it's been chopped off and the serial killer who killed me is showing it to you.
That's goofy.
Other news, Legend of Vox Machina has been renewed for season 2.
And as discussed previously between you and I'm not sure if it needed it. I can see it. I just don't know if it needed it.
They ended it in a good place. The stuff that they spoilers show you in the last 2 minutes that set up season 2 could have just as easily been left off.
Yep.
But I will say this, that because Vox Machina is based on an actual RPG group's actual play, every season being a new adventure seems to make sense. That's what they've done previous with their show on YouTube. So now to have the anime version of them telling more stories they've already told on YouTube makes my heart happy.
I do
That's
have
a
to
good
say,
thing.
the extra effort put forth by the creator of Count Crowley Amateur Midnight Monster Hunter for the promo that he made during the comic book just got 2 orders of 2 more comics from me.
Yeah, we bumped up our numbers as well.
No, I know my LCS did as well, because I'm like, okay, I want it, and whatever. If there's a second cover, I want it. If there's incentive variants, I'm in. This book is my thing now.
I wouldn't go that far, but yeah.
Well, just because that trailer, to me, that trailer was the high point of those presentations for me.
And there are some creators that should take point on that. It's he did a good job of promoting. He doesn't talk very much about the actual story, but it gets you intrigued enough to say, "Hey, yes, this is something I want to read."
My favorite part is when he turns to the cat on the couch and is like, "What's that?" Whatever the cat's name is, and then he takes there's the book there, and then the cat falls over. It's just a little standee. So good.
That, and I love the fact that he couldn't pronounce his own name. That was hilarious.
Oh my words.
But yeah, that is a good way to promote whatever product you're selling.
Yeah, I mean, and I like him as an actor. It's David Desmalchin.
Yep.
I like how he couldn't pronounce his own name, which is the best.
Right. I mean, I've seen him in things, so I've liked him as an actor. So that, I mean, kind of sold me on it already. So, but this is him doing a, what do you call it? A Keanu Reeves, all these other guys who are writing comic books. Except that his comic book seems to be awesome, whereas some of theirs seem to be, hey, I'm writing a comic book.
Hey, okay, look.
They can't all be Berserker, right? But I think he set the bar so high that a lot of other ones are going to be letdowns.
That's the thing. We knew what Berserker was about. We knew what some of these other books were about. This one, I'm still wondering, what is this story about again?
Right. But I mean...
But I'm intrigued.
Look, trust Polka Dot Man, okay? Yes, that's the guy who played Polka Dot Man in the Suicide Squad.
Okay.
You got to trust Polka Dot Man.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if he's playing a cartoon vampire.
True.
But yeah, that was a phenomenal presentation.
Hannah's so red.
Hannah's so red. And red shirt.
And a red cap.
Which is also red.
Hannah, are you secretly a blood?
I just look.
Now that you think about it, she could be one of those blood drops. Those animated blood drops we always.
Ooh, or she could be a big fan of Typo Negative, the band.
Yeah. Are you sure? Never mind. Okay.
Yeah.
This is and I know Kyle has been waiting for this news, and this is probably the most important thing we talk about today.
Has Emily in Paris been renewed for season 3?
No, Emily in Paris has already been renewed for season 3 and 4.
Yeah.
We still don't have any new news for that, but this is the next best thing. Bridgerton. Oh my God.
Bridgerton.
Way to screw that up. Netflix has just posted new images of Bridgerton. Oh my God.
Bridgerton. I'll help you with this show I've never seen because I don't like period love dramas.
Are you trying to say Bridget Jones' Diary?
Bridgerton, Bridget Jones' Diary, Bridge over the River Kwai, Bridge to Nowhere.
Bridgerton. Okay, all right. Netflix has released new stills for the Bridgerton.
We're gonna move on from this story. Netflix has released new images for the Bridge to Terabithia sequel.
Bridgerton season 2.
Yay! You know, my dad, whenever he does that, somebody gasps, he goes like this. Like he has. But he doesn't.
Bridgerton season 2 will star the cast of Bridge of Spies. And the other side will be played by the cast of Terror at London Bridge from 1985, including David Hasselhoff as the lead.
I'm still watching Bridgerton. I don't care what you say, Kyle.
I'm just waiting for another way I can work in the bridge at San Luis Rey.
It's too late. It's cleared my head now.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. You know what that's called when you say a word like that and you can't get it right? And like it just gets like that forever. There's a phrase called speech apraxia. Late in life, Elvis had it, and he couldn't sing the lyrics to "I Can't Help Falling in Love with You" correctly because he sang it wrong one time, and his brain would never let him sing it right again. It's why they stopped doing it in concert.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So, somebody else has confirmed they're in Doctor Strange 2.
Ooh.
The greatest chin in acting.
Oh.
Bruce Campbell.
Campbell.
What's he playing?
Bruce Campbell hints at a cameo in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
Is Texas Ranger?
Hmm?
I'm trying to remember which. Okay, which character is he coming in as?
I'm reading as fast as I can.
Is it Billy the Kid?
No, it's the Ringmaster.
Oh, You know who else was confirmed in that trailer?
Hmm.
Doctor Strange.
Are you sure? Are you sure it's not a multiversal Doctor Strange? It's the real
It's still Doctor Strange. It
and
doesn't
not
matter
Doctor
which
Strange
version.
from a different timeline. It's not variant Doctor Strange.
It still doesn't matter. It's still Doctor Strange.
Naughty Doctor Strange is definitely making an appearance.
Oh, yes, that's true. As well as Scarlet Witch. I'm willing to put my money on that Scarlet Witch shows up.
I mean, it kind of sets it all up.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't take that bet, Brainy. I'm a degenerate gambler, and I wouldn't take that bet.
I knew you weren't a risk taker.
I would bet more money that Morbius shows up.
That would be interesting. I think they could do it.
Mm-hmm.
It would surprise me, though. I mean, from the looks of it, they are setting up Illuminati, but Marvel has been known to throw in teasers to just throw everybody off their guard, and this could be just another one of those where everybody thinks it's Illuminati, but it really isn't.
is true.
We lost Kyle, Jen. We lost
No,
Kyle.
I was reading a Facebook troll I made earlier. So
You're the troll, or
I made a post, and then a friend, someone you know, commented asking for clarification on something that's super clear, and I go, use your reads. Like,
no?
read what it says. And then he goes, I need context. And I go, you need ginkgo biloba for mental health. And they just responded. And so I'm preparing a Jolly Green Giant retort.
Oh no.
So.
Aw, look, there's a book about you coming out. Oh no, I'm about Chris Kyle, American Legend. Not Kyle. You, Kyle.
I'm not an American legend.
Hello, I'm the talent. Kyle's the behind the scene guy.
Right, if there was one about Brainy, I could believe it, but no. By the way, I was scrolling through Netflix because I was in a hotel room and they had Netflix on the TV, and I came across the show that stars our friend Rich Davis.
Yeah. Did you watch it?
No, but I didn't realize that show was on Netflix. I knew he made it. I didn't realize it was on Netflix.
Yeah.
I feel like someone didn't tell me everything or I wasn't listening. But either way, I'm a little angry that I've waited this long. So I'm starting it when I get home tonight.
Well, you may want to let our audience know as well so they would know what to watch.
I forget the name of it. I just was like, add to queue.
So, guys, that show is not called Add to Queue.
No, hold on. I'm logging into my Netflix. Hold on.
And for Kyle's entertainment, I did include the images on our chat.
It's not in my queue. Why is it not in my queue?
Oh no, it ate your cue.
Oh no.
That's not good.
Oh no.
Oh man, I gotta do this too.
Does anybody remember? What is the name of the show, Jen? Do you know?
I don't. I'm so
Something
sorry.
like something shop?
Yep. I know the first season has Rich's wife in it. Sure is very emotional.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is really exciting. You guys should, swap shop.
Swap shop.
Like y'all should be talking about something else while we're doing this, but no. So let's talk about new comics that are coming out this week since we've apparently run out of other things because we all were at comic. By the way, I'm going to throw this out there. Brainy, Miss Jen and I were at the auction on Saturday night.
Brady was there. He was being on the down low.
Right. It was weird not having you there trolling people, like just you being all secretive and hidey was super strange. The fact that more people weren't saying, darn it, Brainy, made it weird for me.
Yeah, this auction had to be as stealth as possible.
Mm-hmm. Sure, makes sense.
Still managed to raise somehow $20,000 for Bink, which is awesome.
That is awesome.
That's less than last year, but still a ton.
The reason it was less than last year is we had less donations.
We did.
Oh, sure. They were getting close to the end when I left. And it was still like 2 hours earlier than last year.
And people went much, much higher than they normally would have on items.
Yeah. Yeah, it was more like a regular auction or a regular charity auction where people start the bidding at whatever the top value of an item is.
Correct.
Which is kind of the way it should be for an auction.
Yep.
Brandy and I try like the Dickens every single year to get it there.
I was
Yeah.
happy with what I paid for the thing I bought.
Oh, I've every single auction I've always overpaid for the things.
Oh, I don't know whether I overpaid or underpaid, but I thought what I paid is certainly a fair
Yeah.
price.
Correct.
Like knowing it's going to charity, knowing that this is the situation, I'm good with it.
Yep.
But yeah, I then the next day couldn't remember what I had bought.
In fact, I
So
was that way this past Friday night. I didn't know what I bid on. I know I won some stuff.
yeah, at some point they'll email me going, "Hey, where do we invoice you?" And I'll be like, "Here." Also, what did I buy?
Yeah.
That's how I am at every single Comics Pro auction.
Yep, that's how it should be. So,
I think it's
all right.
normally at Comics Pro, everyone is like exhausted and imbibing in alcohol after being.
Yeah, I think that's what's been lacking the last year and the last couple of years, basically,
Mm-hmm.
is alcohol.
Well, and when you're in person, you can see somebody's hand go like this. It certainly helps.
Yeah, and then for Brainy and I, we would like kind of egg people on. You can't egg
Right.
people on when you're just like typing words in. It's kind of
Right. You can't yell across the room, "Come on, you know you want it." Don't be that guy.
And then you get things where like Hibbs wants to have the boom,
Mm-hmm.
advertisement. I'm like,
Right.
I'm gonna like knock him off of something that he really wants.
Yep. And he seemed to want it. After 3 or 4, I'm like, yeah, he really wants it.
He's not just putting money out there for fun.
Exactly.
Right. Well, but those are the people that you can confidently bid up to a certain point.
Yeah, but to a certain point, you also got to make sure that you're not.
Being a jerk.
Exactly.
No, sure, absolutely. But like, you know what I mean? It's like, he wants it, and we know what it went for last year, and we know what it would go for normally.
Yeah, but there's like
Push close to those numbers.
Yeah, there was a few items that Miss Jen bid on, and I just backed out of it, even though I wanted them.
Right.
Oh, were you after the Valiant stuff too?
Yep. I was going to add more to my collection, but I already had them. If I didn't have any of those, I would have gone up higher. But I'm like, she wants them.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, those kind of things, I almost never have anyone wanting against me. So I was just like, what in the world? Why?
Well, the other things I wanted that weren't the things I bid on, I had already worked out a deal with the people who had donated them.
Oh.
That if they went above a certain price, hey, I will make a donation to Bink separate, and if you'll sell me the books for those prices, whatever they wind up going for, that's what my donation will be.
Yeah.
So I worked it out with
Sure.
I worked
all that matters.
I worked it out with the Prowse brothers. So I'm getting me a whole bunch of foreign reprint Spider-Mans.
Nice. I wanted those, but those went up way higher than what my budget could afford this year.
Well, and it's the other guy who had the Korean reprint ones. I had done a deal with him Wednesday night to pick some of those up. So
yeah, I did pick up at least I hope I did. I can't even remember anymore. But I think I picked up the sagas. I went well over the number because I wanted them.
Right.
That and
Good.
I think
Mhm.
I picked up the Amazing Spider-Man signed by Stan Lee, Romita, and Conway.
Yep.
Nice.
By the way, the one other piece of news that I don't think it's broken, because it's not something that would regularly get reported. Dave Pilkey is responsible for 1/3 of the entire kids graphic novel market.
Yep.
1/3.
He's incredible.
And I can remember when my parents were like, "You're going to read a book called what? Captain Underwear?" Underpants, mom. Underpants.
Underpants, mom.
You run a literacy program. You don't know about Captain Underpants? And now she's like, I can't get Dog Man fast enough. I go, I understand. So
Yeah, I'm sad it took me that long. It took me so long to actually start carrying it. Now I just like have piles of it.
And interesting enough, our sales aren't that high on Dog Man or Underpants. I'm surprised.
Where do you put them?
In the kids section, we have a dedicated. Well, we did at least. It's semi-dedicated right now because we're moving things around. But it is as you walk in the front. But you saw how much stuff we have, so they do get lost once in a while.
Yeah, you got some stuff in there.
Yep.
I like the way your store is set up.
Thank you.
I was in a store today where the big news they took away was the Jeff Smith announcement. Because it's Jeff Smith's LCS.
Oh, that makes sense.
And they're like, he didn't tell us.
No.
And I'm like, well, start clearing out that section. And he goes, oh, we already did. So.
You want to share the announcement with everybody, or is it still not public? I think it's public.
I don't know what's public and what's not. So I wasn't going to say anything, but just that Jeff Smith made an announcement and that Jeff Smith didn't tell Jeff Smith's LCS. Well, Brainy looks that up.
I'm not looking it up.
Oh, well, if you want to, go look it up, guys. All right. Let's talk about new comics that are out this week.
That's what I was trying to look up. My list isn't up.
Miss Jen, who did you have on your show today?
I had this guy, Ben, get his last name right here. Ben Hunting. Doing an awesome book out of Scout called Code 45.
I don't see that on my list for this week, but I'm sure it's
next week.
Next week, yeah.
We'll start him early.
Nice.
For some reason, we've started to see from Diamond, we're getting 2 different invoices, which is weird.
From PRH?
Nope. Diamond.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I used to occasionally get someone else's invoice plus my own invoice.
See, they're both for release the same week. 2 different invoices.
Right. Like I used to have to go through and be like, okay, what is this account number on this invoice? Oh, this isn't even my invoice. Throw that away.
Yeah, I've had that. We're like, hey, where is this stuff? Where is this stuff? Oh, wait, this is not our invoice.
Right.
So
So
we actually we opted out of paper invoices a while back, and it's been great.
Well, this is one we just printed off the site. Ooh, we got our first Something is Killing the Children slaughter pack.
Wait, the first. This should be
Or some version. I don't know.
I think this is issue number 2, not 1.
Okay.
Oh, if you guys did not add Cheap Tricks by Bad Kid Press, I'd recommend it. That comes out this week.
do they want you to want them?
I tried to get that guy to cut
Is that the cars?
with me today, but I think I asked too late.
I don't know the answer to your question, Kyle. I don't think. Never mind.
It's gonna bother me if my joke was no. That's right. Okay. Cheap Trick did sing "I Want You to Want Me."
They did.
I had a moment where I was uncertain as to whether or not my music knowledge had failed me because I'm like, wait, I know they sang "Surrender." Should have made that joke. I'd have been more confident.
There's a Diego Rivera graphic novel. Yay.
Follow Me Into the Darkness, number 1. I thought that came out last week. Am I looking at last week's stuff? No, I'm looking.
You might be. Oh, there is it just says Follow Me Into the Darkness.
Yeah, no, this is this week's.
Is "Follow Me Into the Darkness" written by the? Never mind.
This is This is supposed to be the sequel to.
You Promised Me Darkness?
Yeah, You Promised Me Darkness. Thank you.
I was going to make a Death Cab for Cutie joke, but after the unconfidence I had in my Cheap Trick joke, I just bailed.
Bailed.
So on my list this week, Absolute Wonder Woman, Gods and Mortals hardcover.
Nice.
I don't remember ordering it, but it's on my list, so I clearly did.
The first Ice Cream Man trade paperback comes out this week. Wait, no, that doesn't seem right.
Nope, that's not right.
That's way old. No, it's estimated ship date 3/2.
Your reorder?
That is very interesting. Sorry, guys. Yeah, this is FOC date was 1/24. Ship date is 3/2. Could have sworn Ice Cream Man already came out a long time ago.
It did. I've got a pile this big.
Yeah. Interesting. Anyway.
Take advantage of because they had that special purchase.
Well, after that, the thing that happened.
Yep.
I didn't order anything from their sales because that tied up a lot of our funding, a lot, to the point where I had to lend the store a lot of money.
Yeah. You don't expect many bulk things to come in that you don't remember ordering. They'll do it.
Exactly, but I'm more shocked with the response than I was. Again, it could have led to a legal action, and I just chose not to do it. Yeah. Maybe it's a mistake on my part. I don't know. I chose to keep the relationship as opposed to money. I shouldn't say that. My wife might hear it. Could be in the divorce proceedings.
I bet you if you direct message Jeppy, he would fit.
Again, I try to weigh the cons and the pros, and actually the cons still outweigh the pros, but something in me said it's not worth my time and effort to try to fight this.
Speaking of things it's not worth your effort to fight, Big Man Plans trade paperback from Albatross Funny Books comes out, which means I have an excuse to wear that T-shirt again because I have the T-shirt that's on the cover, signed by Eric Powell, but he signed it on the screen print, and the ink didn't take. So by the time I got the shirt back to my hotel room after getting it signed, the ink you couldn't tell it was signed. You just thought somebody had tried to use it to wipe up ink.
Oh no!
But I have a 1 of 1 remark, is what I call it. My 1 of 1 remark T-shirt.
Did you take it back to him and have him re-sign it?
No,
you should.
He wasn't there because we had too much fun at the bar the night after, and he didn't show up for Sunday. So, what was the other thing?
Print of Duel #1 coming out this
week. Even though we ordered a decent amount of first prints, somebody else has never reported it as an overage and kept them. Yeah. Along with our Saga 55s and somebody sat on a lot of inventory that never made it to our, which kind of sucks.
Boo those people.
Or the box was lost completely at Diamond's warehouse, but they're claiming they checked and everything and it never was. So.
Well, it could also be, did you guys see that video of that mail truck driving off the bridge?
Oh my word. What?
There was in Massachusetts, a semi-truck lost control carrying a full load of U.S. mail and drove off a bridge into a river.
Ouch. Speaking of weird mail, here's an interesting one. We shipped an order to Canada a few weeks back, about 3 or 4 weeks back. And not last week, the week prior, we received an email from USPS saying, hey, you guys duplicated a label we basically, they're saying we put the same label on 2 packages and send them out. We're like, we couldn't have done that. And this, how's that possible? So we kept looking at all our shipments. We're like, yeah, no, these all went out correctly. Last week we get an email from from the customer we had shipped this item to in Canada, and he's like, hey, you guys sent me some kind of metal frames. What are you talking about? And so he sends us pictures, and they're frames. They look like something you see in a fabrication shop.
Mm-hmm.
And what we had sent him was comic book short boxes, the printed ones, which we had. So I asked him, hey, can you send us a picture of the label? I don't know if you guys have shipped anything international, but when you do, they give you like 4 sheets of custom forms that you need to put on the package. So when he sent us a picture, it was a second page. So somebody at USPS was looking through it, and they stuck one of our labels on somebody else's package and shipped that package to him. And they're sending back the one we had sent him. So he gets these frames, and we're going to get back our box and end up paying another $40 to ship it back to him.
Boo.
You should have him send you the frames.
Yeah, I know. Actually, they do look expensive.
Well, if for nothing else, other scrap.
Yeah, it's going to cost them money to send it to us. So, but I gotta wait for the package to come back so I can go back to USB and say, hey, look, you guys effed this up, fix it.
Right, and they'll have to refund you your money.
Yep.
Okay, Rogue Sun by Ryan Parrott comes out. That's exciting. That one's on my list from Image Comics. Swamp Dogs #2.
Nice.
This is another one I thought that already came out.
Until My Knuckles Bleed #2 is probably out next week. It's on my list for this week. And Usher of the Dead #1 from Blood Moon Comics. Who they're new, but they're coming out swinging.
Yep. I'm excited for that.
I picked up, what was the book from last week? That they had. Emo Girl?
What'd you
I
think?
do like it.
I don't know. I haven't read it yet. I just picked it up today.
Oh, I can't wait to hear what you say.
I visited 6 comic book shops and only one had them.
You should have called me.
Well, no, it was one of those things is that I walked into the first shop and was like, you know what I'm going to look for? This. Like, it just became one of those I'm going to find it in the wild kind of things.
Ooh,
I
wow.
don't even remember if I might have ordered one from Miss Jen and just have forgotten. Now I'll have 2 copies.
Do you think it's possible?
It's entirely possible because I don't remember.
Oh, wow.
I think I did order it from you last Tuesday on your Tuesday night show.
Well, you will have enough.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is then I can give one away. Maybe the girlfriend from high school that it reminds me of, I'll call and be like, hey, I have a comic book that's about you.
You see what I found like 50 copies of today?
This is the dawning
Revival?
of the age of apocalypse.
It's an expensive book right now.
Yeah, why?
Don't know, but the cheapest one in like bad conditions, $12.
Radio Spaceman by Dark Horse comes out this week.
It does. That way, now I'm angry at myself for getting Age of Aquarius stuck in my own head.
I know, right?
On your own self.
Yeah, that one was self.
Self
What's the, yeah,
Did you mention-
self-inflicted.
Did you mention Rogue Sun already?
I did.
I missed that. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. There's not a lot for me this week. There's just those couple things. But that leaves me room to pick up some of the other trades and stuff that I was interested in that I hadn't pre-ordered. So if my store gets them, let me do that. There is a new Batman #1, Batman Killing Time #1, which I hope is just Batman sitting in the Batcave twiddling his thumbs. While everyone else goes out and does the Batman work. Devil's Reign continues with Devil's Reign Spider-Man #1. And somebody's popular. There's one more trade I wanted to mention, but I'm forgetting what it is now. It's one I didn't pre-order, but I want that my store gets it. I will pick it up. Oh, it's called Forever Winter. I don't even know who the publisher is, but it's by a guy named Joel Lohler. Stockpile Comics. Forever Winter. Once upon a time in post-apocalyptic Boston.
Ooh.
30 years after the end of our world, Forever Winter follows a large cast of characters as they live and die in the broken landscape where winter never ends. Following the one clue at his disposal, the name Elric, James Coleman sets out into a post-apocalyptic New England to track down his father's murderer with little more than the coat on his back and a sword by his side. So,
That sounds cool, man.
Yeah, I'm lucky. The LCS that I've been going to get a lot of the graphic novels and stuff, they order a lot of these small press, sort of odd trade paperbacks and hardcovers. So I usually can lug out.
I mean, that's one of the things I really like looking at whenever the new solicitations come out. It's like there's got to be something cool. Like mostly I find like history stuff is one of my favorite things. Like if there's a history based trade paperback, they sell so well for me.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine that your store is kind of like Laughing Ogre in Columbus and Green Brain and Dearborn, where you have a portion of your customer base who comes in looking for that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah. We have a lot of teachers too.
Brainy, is your store like that? Do you have people coming in looking for books like What Eddie Gein Done?
Not necessarily. But we do have people that tend to look for a certain. I mean, that's to be said about every store. Though.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. So where I was today visiting stores, I have one store where it's pulling teeth to get them to order something like Aftershock because their customer base is so superhero centric. And then even 10 minutes away at a different store, superhero stuff is almost tertiary. It's just so interesting.
The shops are so different.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. And that's why I love visiting shops. It's why when I go on trips like I did today, like I literally went to pick up a smoker. But if I'm going to drive to Columbus, I'm going to visit every comic shop in Columbus and every comic shop between here and there. So, and then I'm going back in a couple weeks to one of these stores to see Garrett and Dr. Christie.
I can see them tomorrow.
I think I'm going to, when they're in the area, I think I'm going to follow them around like they're the dead and just sell tuna fish sandwiches in the parking lot. That's a very specific joke for a very specific crowd.
I was going to say, maybe I don't get that one.
There was a documentary about a guy who followed the Grateful Dead around for years. And the way he afforded to do that was he would stop at grocery stores and buy the stuff to make tuna salad sandwiches and sell them in the parking lot to people who were stoned.
I mean,
okay.
sounds like it's good.
Right, like that. I mean, but it's a very specific joke for a very specific crowd of people that
Mhm.
clearly none of us, except for me, were. So, anything else for the good of the order?
All I can think of. I'm excited about going to see Batman tomorrow. No, Wednesday. Whatever. I don't know what day it is. So Wednesday.
I'm not going till the 12th. That's when I've booked the theater.
That'll be fun for you to get to go. Are you taking friends, or are you just going to go by yourself and take off your shoes or whatever?
You mean yell at the screen when I'm displeased?
Yes.
Like I'm some sort of king?
Yes.
I haven't decided. No, I'm taking friends. But I may, for the unbelievably good price where you can rent a movie theater, this may be a thing I do more regular. Where if there's a movie I like, especially if you rent it on like a weekday, like I'm paying for a Saturday, so it's a little more expensive. But if you rent it on like a weekday, it's cheap. And to have my satisfaction of being able to yell at Thanos, "You're not my Thanos, Thanos," without other people looking at you funny, it's worth considering.
You just got to take enough of your friends, and then you'll be fine.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. So for this one, like, I'm just straight up paying for the theater and inviting my friends for free. If it becomes something that I like doing, like, it'll be one of those things, hey, throw in $5, you know, cover the cost. But we'll see.
Hey,
So,
you're paying for me to drive up there, right?
no, but if you come, I'll get you into the movie for free.
You're paying for me to fly up there, right?
No, but if you come, I'll get you into the movie for free. I'll even buy you a slushie.
Maybe I should borrow Miss Jen's private jet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, Brainy? You're out in California. You probably know somebody with access to a private jet.
Not gonna lie.
Even if you don't know, you know somebody. Like,
I would say what 20 plus years ago, I had access to private jets.
What?
were you the guy who drove the gas truck at the airport? Is that what you're saying?
No,
You had access to them.
family members at that time had some.
Yeah. If you ever, no lie, if you ever want to fly private, look at Wheels Up. It's relatively affordable.
Define relatively affordable.
To fly private, it's only a little more expensive than flying commercial.
It depends on where you're going. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I looked at it to go down to Houston to visit Miss Jen, and it was more expensive to land the plane at the airport closest to her than the entire flight.
Wow.
To get clearance to land at the airport closest to you. If I'd have been willing to land like an hour away, it'd have been super cheap.
You should have just gone and landed in Conroe. It's really close.
That was the airport closest to you.
Yeah.
Right. Like that was what was expensive because they had to like pay for a ground crew at that airport.
Oh.
If I'd have landed like an hour away at like a major commercial airport, it'd have been cheaper. Anyhow, thank you for watching Nerd News Now, part of the Kingdom of Geekdom on Woodlands Online, sponsored by the Adventure Begins Comics and Games and Space Cadets Collection. We didn't talk about food this episode. Check out the other shows on Woodlands Online, like Weekly Fallout Sports Talk, The Adventure Begins Show, 4 Reels, The Best You, Between the Trees Business Talk, and much more. You can watch all...
We have to talk about food.
That was the extent of us talking about food. Miss Jen got drove around and went for good food for her birthday, and we didn't really talk about food this episode. You can watch all these on Woodlands Online and on our partner station, KVQT HD21 over the air on your TV. All of these shows and more on Roku right now. Just search and add Woodlands Online TV to your streaming lineup. Now you can listen to the podcast versions of these shows on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and Amazon. So for our food conversation, Brainy and Miss Jen, I've been Kyle, and this has been Nerd News Now.
Bridgerton Season 2. has new pictures up on the Netflix Facebook page. Go look at them.